What is helping or
helping people to do different things and to not be bossy and in your own bedroom, and when people come in they knock the door.
in privacy, Andrew, yeah?
Privacy.
Yeah.
And I think that is, I can't think of nothing else.
What about how you want people to treat you?
I want people to treat me how I am, and also I want people to listen to me, and I can't think of nothing else to say.
That's right, I want them to listen to you.
Yeah,
What about choosing what you want to do?
choosing what I want to do.
It's important, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you want a salmon at home and I don't want one, I choose what I want
Yes.
to choose.
Yes.
And that's it. One of my mates at the Mount School was telling me something not to do, and I just told him to leave me alone and get on. I told him to go away and left me alone. I said, that's it now, finished. And I think that's it.
What did someone do that made you happy?
Moving house. Moving house, I had a lot of help moving. Mum helped me, Dad helped me. At the house where Joe helped me, the man helped me to move all my stuff in my new house. My bookcase in. And I'm more settled now.
Settled.
As a support worker, why is dignity important, and how do you encourage others to show that they treat people in a dignified way?
I think it's really important, and you should always imagine it's you being looked after or somebody you love and how you would want to be treated. Obviously privacy is a big part of it, and we have a knock-knock policy on the doors. You know, we don't go in anybody's rooms or the bathrooms unless they want us to. Choice, we really push that everybody chooses what they want to do, from activities to simple things, what they want to eat, where they want to go, and also about their general well-being. And you know, if somebody's off, if somebody's down, sad, find out why. Is there anything we can do to help them or support them if they fell out with someone, or just generally look at the whole picture rather than just what they need. Think about their feelings and thoughts as well. So it's not, I think people think it's just privacy, but I think there's a lot more to it than that. It's really getting to know the person and understand them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
As a training manager, how is dignity important?
It's important that we teach our caregivers that dignity is very important to our clients. They must understand that the client is now asking for help that they perhaps are reluctant to ask for because they're frustrated they can no longer do things for themselves. So it's very important that our care workers understand that they have to be respectful of the person that they're working with, that they try and maintain their independence as long as possible and keep them as active as possible. Social inclusion is also a huge part of that they still do the things they like to do, go to their groups, go shopping, catch up with friends and family. So it's important that they respect the person's independence and respect them as a person and actually respect their wishes and their choices.
Would us like to be treated properly? Do you think that dignity should be taught?
Absolutely. I think it's something that perhaps should be introduced to the curriculum in schools, certainly in secondary schools, as people are becoming more aware of perhaps what they may want to do as a career or as a job. I think that it's difficult to teach dignity. What we need to be showing people is how it feels to actually lose your dignity. Because if you put the person into the shoes of the elderly person who suddenly no longer has control over a lot of their life, a lot of parts of their lives and their choices, you have more of an understanding of what losing your dignity is, so you're able to compensate for that by being more respectful to the elderly person. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, as an unpaid worker, family carer, do you feel that your role is treated with dignity?
Sometimes not. It depends where we go and who we're seeing. I mean, with a GP, we normally go in with the person we're caring for and try to explain, because they might not be coherent enough to explain what's going on. But it can be very, very difficult at the best of times.
What should be done by everyone to improve the way that unpaid carers are viewed?
Well, this is another dignity issue again. You're going to have people who are going to put it down and build you up. Also, how do I say, it's all part and parcel of being a carer. You have to be resilient enough to put your views forward.
So, how do you see the Dignity Charter in Dudley Borough making a change?
Well, we need to push it more. We need to push it a lot to the general public and GP surgeries and such, where we believe that we need to be. There's always going to be people that are going to shout it down, but we need to push it up as much as we can and go from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
As chair of the National Dignity Council, how and why did the campaign start?
How it started was by a number of people that were really strategic people who were chief executives of different care organisations came together, and they formed with the Department of Health what was called a stakeholder group. And the reason why that stakeholder group came together is that why? Because dignity wasn't being met. There were so many holes, there were no clear standards that were there for people to work to look at, well, what are we going to do about this dignity thing? So they set it up in about 2006, and they had a stakeholder meeting with the Department of Health, and they said, what we can do about it. So that started the campaign. That was the beginning.
Okay. How can people help to improve dignity?
It's everybody's responsibility indeed. Everybody has a responsibility, whether you're in care, whether you're in the street, whether you're in the bank. Everybody has responsibility to actually make sure that people's rights are met. And when I say dignity, I define dignity as 3 key words. It's kindness. Are you being kind to people? It's respect. Are you respecting people? And then it's compassion. So how are you doing that? How are you being kind? How are you being respectful? And what feelings have you got that you can understand or begin to understand and try to understand how people need to live their lives? And that definition of kindness came from children. Because when you say the word dignity, what's it mean? What does it mean to you? It has so many different definitions and so many different meanings. So I start with the word what children gave me, which was, it's kindness.
That's a very good answer.
Yeah.
Good.
How would you like to see the Dignity for Dudley project develop?
I'd like to see it accessible to as many people as possible. And as we have today, someone that's interpreting different ways, different medias to get it across to people. How I'd like to see it progress is to see action. To see that something real is not on paper, something real is happening, a real movement. I don't know whether you know, but the National Dignity Council campaign has 88,000 champions. Dudley is playing a tremendous part in contributing to that. And I know the work that's gone on in Dudley, that is having an impact. But what I'd like to see is what difference has it made? What difference does it make to young people? It begins with everyone. What difference, it belongs to everyone, as I said earlier. But what difference has it made to young people? How are they respected? What difference does it make to people who have different difficulties, shall we say, or different ways of living their lives? How can treating people with that kindness, respect and compassion, how can Dudley demonstrate that this campaign that they are actually supporting has made a difference? That those people who really need it are accessing it.
Okay, thank you
Is
for
that
your
enough?
time. Yeah,
Is that
absolutely
enough?
fine.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jan.
One of the things that people say, if I just may say, that they say that they can't define dignity for what you've just said. It's such a broad word that can mean so many things. But how people usually get it is when they actually relate to when their dignity has not been met. When they have not been treated with kindness, with respect, with compassion. And if you haven't been treated, you've got something to say then. And it's kind of turning it on its head to think about it in a different way. But it does. It just fits with what you're saying there. So
But the main one, I think, is having respect for people. That's a lot to do with showing dignity to people.
the only problem with having respect is if no one's been shown it. When you say that people should have respect, well, I just said in my interview, it's about being kind, it's about being respectful, which is in there for me in my definition, and then having feeling. When I teach people about dignity and I speak to them about those 3 words, when they get to that word respect, some people, like when I've worked with prisoners recently, they haven't had respect. They haven't grown up as children being treated respectfully, so they think they know what it is, but it's ever so important, as you've just drawn attention to pull that apart. Because what does respect mean? And how do you expect to be respected when you might have a very low level of expectations? Does that make sense? So and what you have there, I love colour. I love colour. And there's an awful lot of colour there with lots of fabulous words on
Colour
them.
makes you look at things, doesn't it?
It certainly
If
does.
it's all bland, you tend to ignore it a bit more.
I'd love to take a picture of it and we'll put it in our newsletter, because we have a monthly newsletter. And I was saying, how many champions did I tell you that we had?
80,000.
88,000 champions across the country, and let's let them look at that. Let's let them see the work that you've done, and I'd be very happy to share this with them. And if you've got hyperlinks to something specifically, let them see. We want young people. I go into schools and talk in assemblies and tell the children there about it. So let the age group grow a bit. And thank you very, very much. It's fantastic.
It's a good bit of work, that.
Fantastic.
There's
Love
a
it.
lot of effort gone into it, I think. Item. Anne Byrne.
Lovely.
Colin Bennett. Alan Caldwell. Well done, Alan, and you're a long server as well. Thank you. Thank you. Kenneth McCloy.
That happens to be me. Thank you very much.
Well done.
Thank you.
Butch Gruber. Well done, all of you. It's been very good.
Thank you very much for coming, Councillor Taylor. I hope you'll think about signing up to become a Dignity Champion.